Shoot. I was trying to take a picture. Guys, how do I take this off? Hello. I'm early. Guys, I was playing with the filters and I was trying to take a picture, and I guess I have just started the live and now I don't know how to take. Oh, okay, hold on. I can take this off. There we go. Okay, hi. Here we go. Hello, everyone. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Attunement. Okay, if you hear that noise, it's because I'm sitting on top of... Yes? Lauren's in your bathroom. See, yeah, and I'm on live.
Oh, okay, bye.
Okay, bye. That was my mother. We love a household. She was ready though. She was ready to let me know that I needed to go live. So at least. Hi everyone. Welcome. Happy Sunday from wherever you are in the world. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you very much. Yes. Estoy grabando en el baño. That's what I was just asked. I had to find a place that's quiet. My parents are watching TV. They have no interest in stopping their fun for little old me. So I was like, all right, I'll find a spot. And then there's just this lovely light here that my mom has to do her makeup. So I have a little setup. You see that lighting? Killed it. Anyways, I have a super special guest today because here on Attunement, what are we doing? We're talking about healing. We're talking about how are we coping? How are we getting through these moments? Shout out to everything going on right now. Things are still happening, everyone. I know that it's seemingly like I'm in Miami and things are going back to normal right now. Obviously, we still need our masks and everything, but things are slowly but surely opening up. And I just feel like I'm in this twilight zone, honestly, on a regular basis. I'm just like, what the fuck is going on? Are we in or are we out? Are we down to help each other out here? Are we going to ignore these things? Like, what do we really, are we going to cater to this? Are we not? Dios mío. So I'm staying put. I'm continuing my situation. I've just been going between my parents' house and my house, and I've just been chilling. I'm chilling. I'm getting organized, doing things that I need to be doing, getting better at doing that. You know what it is, and that's what we're here to talk about. So today I have a beautiful special guest who's a good friend of mine. He is so talented. It's a bit otherworldly, if you will. He's just ridiculous. So where are you, my friend? Oop. Let's see, how do I find people? See, this is why hello, Elena. All right, you know what? Jacob, my friend Jacob Collier is coming on today. And we're going to talk about music and sound and the healing vibrations of sound. Super important. So I told him to give me 5 minutes, so I'm positive he's respecting that. So, but yeah, that's who our guest is today. So we're going to be talking to him in a little bit. If you don't know who Jacob is an incredible musician, singer. He plays piano, he plays percussion, he produces, he mixes, he plays everything. He's just one of the most talented human beings I've ever... The way he understands music and sees music is just like very special. And I've loved watching his journey and just seeing him kill it. So it's been it's been a crazy whirlwind to watch that kid. He's just so incredible. So yeah, you guys are gonna get an opportunity to hear a little chat between us today. In the meantime, how are you guys feeling? How's your quarantena going? Quarantena. Anybody? Anybody? Are you guys still following rules? Are you still taking care of your bodies? Have you developed new habits? New good habits? Bad habits? What have you been feeling? Does anybody want to tell me? There's Mom. There he is. All right, we're gonna go. You guys can comment how you're feeling and we'll talk about it in a minute. But here's my friend. Hey! Hello! Okay,
what is up? Yeah, I thought this was a last minute decision. But
I love it. No, I'm inspired by it. I'm wearing a gray sweatshirt right now.
Okay, I mean, I appreciate that a lot.
Yeah,
I'm actually wearing Stevie Wonder underneath all of this. I don't know if you can see him, but he's like, he's there singing
honestly,
songs.
This fit is everything.
Yo, thank you. This is so cool. Hey, thanks for having me. This is like a privilege and a pleasure. You've been rocking with this whole conversations vibe.
Thank you. Yeah, no, thank you so much for being on. I know that you're busy. I know you just dropped a song.
Oh, I did.
I know that you're out here killing it. So thank you so much for making the time. I appreciate it.
You are beyond welcome. Sincerely.
Yay. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of like get it to pick your brain a little bit. Because first of all, you're just like an ingenious little thing.
Hey now. Okay.
No, for real though. Like when I hear you speak about music, I'm like, am I a musician? Was this my song? Am I sure?
Oh man, well,
no,
thank you. That's very kind of you.
It's very magical. So yeah, I just want to pick your brain a little bit about just how. I mean, you can just tell like the people because I know that this is like a new audience for you probably. So, just like, how did you get into music? What was it about music that just like made you like gravitate towards it as an outlet?
Oh yeah, good question. Musical linguistics. So okay, hey everybody, I'm Jacob. This is my room. And I learned to walk in this room when I was 1 year old. So this is like my real family home vibe. It's a bit of a mess, but yeah, I'm one of those people who's always lived in the same house, which I love. I love it. I can't imagine ever really moving the family home anchor at this point because it's so established. Mm-hmm. And so what I used to do as a kid was explore music in this room. I would listen to it, and I would start to mess around with things that I liked, you know, be like, well, if this note goes here, then this note goes here, then this note goes here, then I've got 3 notes, and that's a chord. And I guess I was pretty much self-taught. So I used to just explore how to put these different materials together in strange ways. And I got Cubase, which is like a recording software when I was 7 years old. Yeah, Cubase. Are you a Cubase user?
I'm not on Cubase, no, but I know someone like who's on Cubase who we were talking about that.
It's a whole vibe.
I just downloaded Pro Tools for the first time.
That's a big moment. Oh, congratulations.
I know. I plugged it in and I have it all set up and I recorded my very first thing and I was just like, I feel
that must feel so good. That must feel amazing.
Ooh, it makes me feel so nice. I'm so excited to like learn how to just engineer and produce myself and just like have like the freedom to play with that and see what it is that I really like and not just kind of like depend on having to dictate to someone like I want a little more of this.
I want this and that.
I don't really know what I'm saying, you know?
Yeah. I feel like when you get that skill set, you're just unstoppable because you'll be like you'll go bang and everything will come out naturally. And I think for me it was like the freedom of that I loved that as a kid and I wanted to be able to do it. I wanted to have the control of all the elements and get the groove to feel just right and get the chords to feel just right and so like that like muckery I've always loved it. And so I sat basically in this exact chair and just threw paint at the wall for 25 years and counting. And yeah, eventually found, I guess, a bunch of materials that I really believed in. And it's always changing, like what you like is always changing. But
when you say materials, do you mean like things to make the sounds that you're doing?
Everything, I guess. It's like almost like vocab. It's like when you learn a language, you want to establish a sense of vocab, like, oh, I like it when this is possible, or I like it when this is possible. So I might steal a chord from here, or a sound like a snare drum, or a kick drum, or a hi-hat from here, or like a vocal riff from Stevie, whatever. And eventually you sort of like through this natural process of kind of acceptance and and rejection that happens, I guess, as a kid when you're like,
Like
okay,
a
this
smoke.
feels good to me, this feels good to me. You're just kind of led to a place where you are in charge of your own tastes, and the more you can like invert the direction of the listening into a making process, just the more exciting the whole thing is. And I've always found it so exciting to make music as I'm learning it, especially when I half know it. You know, when it's like I kind of understand this thing, might as well get started making with it, and then maybe something will happen. And
Yeah.
normally that's like the most exciting stuff. Like it's more exciting than if I know something already. You know?
100. I see. I'm kind of in this space right now where like when I was younger, I used to just kind of create with no thought about it. All kinds of things though. But I never really got into like the technicalities of music. I really just like loved listening to songs and dissecting lyrics and like.
That's the most important stuff.
I mean, I think that it's all just kind of interesting, like what we gravitate towards. You know what I mean? Like,
For
and so
sure. Yeah.
because I've always been like a writer. Like that was the first thing that I was really sure that I did. You know what I mean? Like to express myself. Like,
Yeah, I can tell that.
or with words and just kind of like figure out what I was trying to say, you know what I mean? And try to say it in like 3 minutes. I thought was really fascinating. But also I did more poetry than anything when I was younger.
Really?
But
Because
right now I'm in a phase where I'm in what you're talking about, which is just like taking that listening and having an output for it. You know what I mean? For the first time ever, because I always had this, I guess, little stigma in my mind that like women weren't capable of doing that, which doesn't mean anything because there's a lot of beautiful women out there who do it. But honestly, I just was surrounded by so many men doing production, and like, cause I was 16 when I started in the industry, so all I saw was men doing this stuff. So I was like, oh shit, like I have to outsource this particular thing, you know, because I'm a singer and I'm a writer, but I need to outsource this. But I'm realizing that's like, no, I love music. Like I love sounds and figuring out how they work too. So maybe I should just experiment with that, you know?
Oh,
just
for sure.
throw paint at the wall, like you said.
Exactly. And like as the writer of the song, that you probably have the best clue of kind of conceptually what you want to, you know, what you want the thing to feel like. And so if you have those tools, then then you're able to illustrate them, which is wonderful. And yeah, it's a funny thing. I'm working on this massive sort of quadruple album at the moment. 4 albums in one, this thing called Jesse. And so it's like about 40 collaborators wide. And so collaborators from like, you know, mid Africa and South America and Portugal and all sorts of crazy places. And it's just amazing to, I guess, learn from
hear that. Wow.
how people...
Like a compilation of sound from across the world.
Kind of, yeah. Yeah, so it's like, volume 1, 2, 3, and 4, and it's just all the things that I love in one basket. And like the first 2 volumes have been released, but the second 2, which are really exciting, those are coming out soon. And I've watched these people create alongside me with this project, and also just in their own right, for so many years. And it's amazing to meet the people and realize how they work. And it is one thing I've been feeling, is that in general, female musicians don't tend to think of themselves as producers, which I just don't understand. I mean, I understand it in some ways, but it kind of makes no sense.
When you're in a room and making production decisions, like nobody at the end of it is like, oh, she gets production credit. You know what I mean? Like
that just blows my mind.
I feel that so heavily, because sometimes I'm at this place where I'm like, I picked those chords, I picked where we went.
Right. That's my sound.
Very much like a so intimate part of like the sounds that were chosen, and like the even down to the mixing of the sound. And then for some reason don't have the haven't had, because I'm in a new place now, but like haven't had the nerve to be like, yo, like I kind of low-key help produce, right? Like, you know, like isn't that what that is? Like picking what we're gonna be doing here.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about mixing and you're talking about sound choice and stuff, then you're the producer. Yeah, it's a funny thing. I've always been super protective of.
Like I'm the sole producer and nada, so like I feel like there's a lot of such a collaborative process for me, but it's also like I feel like I'm part of it. Is the only thing that I mean.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think it's so important nowadays for artists to realize just how the scene is changing, and people with ideas can make ideas happen almost with nobody else. Like for me, I sat in this chair and made things basically all on my own from day one. And so I quarantined myself. So yeah, so this year's like craziness is in some ways it's just kind of like an extension of my natural process in a strange kind of a way.
No, me too, bro. I work the best like isolated and just like in my own world. Like that's when I'm, first of all, the least inhibited, and second of all, just the most like creative. Like I feel like flowy.
You're flowy. So are you like would you say you're an introvert or an extrovert?
I think I don't know, man. See, whenever I'm asked to choose between things that are supposed to be at the opposite of the spectrum, I
Yeah.
always put myself kind of at the intersect of them.
Yeah, me too.
Often. And I feel like I'm an intersect of that because I love to be surrounded by people I love, and I do get recharged by people I love. But I also definitely am like so precious about my alone time and my own space. So I don't know. I feel like I'm very much both. It depends on like where I'm at on a personal level, energy wise. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, you
Where do you
strike me as
find
a kind of,
yourself?
I mean, it's the same thing. Yeah, like an intersect vert or something. I don't know. But yeah, so like I, de- I definitely draw my energy from within myself, but I definitely react to energy that comes from outside in a visceral way. And I guess you strike me as someone who's similar. Like your
Empathic.
source is your source is in you, but you're like totally open, which I love. And I'm just wondering how you've been thinking about or experiencing, or have you felt a change in energy in this period of time when there's far less of the kind of outward thing and it's so much more inner? Like, have you found yourself kind of searching for new ways to source energy, like to replace those sources that perhaps you found in the real world, like for example, touring and collaborating in the studio and hanging out with friends and all these kind of things that can be super recharging? How have you found that like kind of transition in this weird time?
I think I've found, first of all, it's this time has really enabled me to confront a lot of the kind of escape methods that I had
Hmm.
kind of gone into that were not necessarily very healthy for me, you know? Like I just, because I've had to be in my own space and haven't had like an outward reason to be doing what I'm doing. Like there's more
Hmm.
inner accountability that I've definitely been
Oh
experiencing.
yeah, that's so well put.
Yeah. And so I've been definitely going through that really hardcore. But then I also like I really miss being in nature like the most because
Yeah, me
I
too.
don't want to be one of those assholes in Florida that goes to the beach, but like I really want to go to the beach. You know what I
But
mean? Like
but you do.
I
Yeah.
really do, and I really want to like. I've been going outside in terms of like my backyard. Like my parents have a beautiful backyard that I get to kind of be in and tan in or whatever. But like, I
Oh yeah.
really I love being able to explore outdoors and just kind of be, especially in the water. So I've missed that a bit.
You're a water baby.
I'm a water baby through and through.
What a baby. Yeah. 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 That's a tricky one. I haven't left my sort of radius, but very, very close to home radius for like, I don't know, 2 months now or whatever.
Yeah, it's
Um,
been like I saw someone say 80 days, but like I really don't know anymore. Like I'm
yeah.
like all I
It's
know is that June is literally in a week, and I'm turning
June's
24
about to
in
pop.
27
June's about
days
to pop.
from that, and I'm just like, whoa.
It's insane. But you know what's funny is that I think a lot of the time artists, like, musicians, artists, painters, people who think outside the box for a living, who are lucky enough to do so, we live in this kind of time frame which is
Warp.
bendy and
It's a
and
warp.
warped anyway.
So I've been writing this piece, and that's literally how it starts. It's like time is literally a construct. Like I'm more sure of it now than ever in my whole
Oh
life.
yeah. Yeah, yeah,
This
completely,
is
completely.
literally, it's a joke. You don't feel it's passing unless you have something to do.
Unless you're told to feel it's passing. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a fascinating thing. But I think for me, like a lot of the world is now experiencing that flux time frame,
That
which
we
for us
used
is
to
like,
have,
well,
right? So
yeah,
kind of
of
just
course. Like,
observe.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah. It's like you remove all the markers, all the rounders pillars from your day. There's no, this happens, which leads to this, which is this more just like amorphous zone, and then that makes some things easier and then some things way harder, right?
mm-hmm.
Are you an early bird? Do you get up first thing in the morning?
So I've been really weird these past few days. I'm not gonna
Yeah.
lie. Like my sleep schedules have not been consistent. I'm not even gonna lie. Last night I went to sleep at 8 p.m. Right, but then
Stop.
what, I'm stopping.
8 p.m. Are you kidding me?
No, I passed out. I passed out on the couch. I passed out on the couch at 8 p.m. I woke up at like 11, and I was like, "Oh, I gotta go. I gotta go to my bed." Like, so I go to my bed. I go to sleep. I wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning,
Boom. It's a
and
whole, it's a whole zone.
I was like, "What am I doing up?" And I was wired, kind of up, not even just up, but like I was up. So
You'd
I
had your
went
8 hours.
outside,
That's the thing. You were ready.
yeah, and I started writing. I had just like kind of like,
Yeah, great.
so I started writing, and then I fell back asleep for like 4 more hours. It was weird.
That's kind of
I
amazing.
feel like
You
it's a
know,
really weird cycle.
in Shakespeare's time, this is something I recently learned. In Shakespeare's time, so you had like a first sleep and a second sleep, and then there was like a zone in the middle where people did things for an hour in the middle of the night, and that was the normal way of being. So you'd like cook something, or write something, or go for a walk, or like make love, or whatever. And it's kind of an amazing vibe because it's like not like the rest of the day where you're just like getting on with things. It's like almost like you're gifted a little sliver,
Yeah,
and you
that's how
sleep
it
for
feels.
4 hours and you wake up kind of like you did. You like sleep for 4 hours, you wake up, you have a little zone, and you enter into a task that is, like kind of like half dream half awake kind of thing, and then you go back to sleep and you wake up and you're ready to go. And that traditionally apparently is what our bodies were kind of built for.
Yeah.
Like that we're built for to have like a rest, and then an up energy, and then a down energy, and then the day. But now we think it's this block of time that you get, and apparently that's like not optimum. So like what you just described sounds like the perfect use of the human body.
Sick.
Congrats.
Because I thought I was just being a crazy ass. So I
No,
appreciate
I don't
that.
think so.
That validation really means a lot.
Kudos. Yeah, kudos for your choices there.
Thank you. Wow. I
Yeah.
love these random like facts that you have to whip out of that sombrero.
Oh, I've got bags of useless information if you just ask.
Oh, that's amazing. Honestly, that's a gift. That's a talent. That's a party trick. That's a lot of
In some ways, yeah, but oftentimes, when I'm trying to get to sleep at 8 p.m., which I never am, why would I be trying to get to sleep that early?
I don't know why I honestly
It's
could not explain to you why I fell asleep that early. Whoa, guys, I lost my lighting. Are you kidding?
yeah, you power out.
Hold on, there we go. We're back.
Whoa. So
Did you hear
okay,
that?
so you're doing like laptop as the backlit thing?
No, my mom has this like Bluetooth speaker. Hold on, I'm trying to find. How do I do this? There you go. There
Oh
you go.
yeah, you got one of those glowy circular mirrors, right?
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what
Gotta
you mean.
get that up close makeup because you can't see for shit.
Yeah. No, for sure. But yeah, when I'm not trying to go to sleep at 8 p.m., I go to sleep about 4 a.m. So like your wake up time,
Wow.
per what you just described. I'm very much a night boy. So yeah.
I'm a night boy. I'm a night boy too.
Okay, cool. You're a night boy too. We're going to get along great. But yeah, but anyway, what I was going to say was it's the useless information that keeps me awake. It'll be like, and my mind will chatter away and kind of make connections. And some of it's really great, and some of it's just loopy and useless. But I mean, it's life.
Wow, I feel you
Yeah.
so hard.
Do you have any like chatter quieteners, like techniques for getting to go like?
What the heck are you? What do you mean? Chatter quietness?
Chatter quietness, like I like
Was
your
I
brain
supposed to
chatters.
know what that word was?
Well, I mean, no. Well, yeah. I guess I don't know. I made it up just then, right? I quite like it. I'm going to write it down on my. So chatter quietness being things that make the chatter in your brain just less, kind of like loud, less overwhelming. Chatter quietness, yeah. Things that just go.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, you strike me as the kind of person who has like things up her sleeve to like.
Yeah, for me, chamomile tea with valerian root tea and some honey knock me right the fuck out. Yes.
Yeah. Hey, do you eat tea bags?
No.
No, you don't. Fascinating. Yeah, I do actually. Yeah, I do. Well, I don't swallow them, but
how do you eat a tea bag? Do you have like some sort of organic tea bag that you use?
You just no. I don't eat it. I just.
Suck on it.
This is great.
Listen, sir.
No one's down with it, and I don't understand why. So I was just asking. I was like, why is this not? Do you not like this? Delicious.
Wait. When did you start doing this? How is this something that you have? Is this something you've done since you were a child, or like?
Yeah.
Yo, I'm tripping out. Like, you literally have a tea bag in your mouth.
It's so good. Basically means I get tea in my mouth, like created from my saliva.
Like the residual tea.
So good. Oh man, I'm so down with it. Anyway, continue what you were saying about
So
what we were talking about.
use tea bags. I use one of the little like bolitas. I don't know what they're called. The mesh balls, like the little balls, and I put loose herb in it, and then I
Herb.
herbs. Yes.
Herb. Okay.
There's the herbs that are inside of the tea bag that you're sucking on.
I'll finish that one later.
Okay, yeah.
But yeah. But anyway, I'm so down for tea bags. I'm sure.
Yo,
Good. I would recommend it.
That's so
licorice.
unique. Like I've never ever in my life ever no one ever
Really?
put a tea bag in
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding you. I'm not kidding you.
Yo, I don't
Do you
get
know
it.
a lot of people who do this? Is this like a thing that you do with your friends?
Oh yeah, all my mates are on this. I'm ready. I'm just like, where's the community? That's what I'm saying.
Oh my god, I can't breathe.
Would recommend.
Would recommend 10 out of 10. Just
Yeah, 10 out of 10.
Look, this is informative. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. These labs are informative.
Yeah, it does. It depends on the tea flavor, but like, yeah. I mean, I won't go into it now. This is a Yogi licorice tea. I mean, come on, Yogi, you with me?
Licorice tea? Of course.
Yeah, right. So like today, so it's like your strength is your own belief. That's what I'm here for.
Wow, that's so
So
true.
it gives you,
Like,
Yogi gives you a lot of things to
belief in
think about.
yourself. Honestly, my peak of like this enlightenment so far has been when I figured out that if I don't believe in me, nobody's gonna believe in me. Like,
Oh yeah,
there's no way that I can move forward in life until I'm like, you're the baddest bitch in the room, bitch. Just because you're you, no one else.
yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason you're better than anyone else, because you're you.
I think that comes really clear when you spend a lot of time alone. It's like, oh yeah, no, it really does have to come from me.
Yeah, that really shifted just everything for me.
Yeah, no, it's a huge one. So thank you, Yogi, for affirming this.
We love an affirmation from Yogi.
We do it every day in our mouths. Yeah. Anyway,
So back to sounds. And
you want to talk about sounds?
What is your favorite chord?
You can't ask me a question like that.
Okay. What is your favorite chord progression?
Well, let me see. Today, my favorite chord progression. I think this is lovely. I think that's a really lovely sound. And I've recently gotten it. Well, it's A flat major with the ninth in first inversion. It looks like this.
All right.
Yeah.
See, this is one of those moments that I'm talking about where I'm like, oh, I'm thinking you're gonna be like A sharp, like
A sharp.
minor, like.
Yeah. Well, I'm down for both of those notes as well. But yeah, I don't know. I used to sit when I was a kid, right? I'm still a kid. Well, I'm not really, but yeah, kind of. And I used to sit for a long time and just go like.
You know that?
Yeah, I did know that. But yeah, I used to just kind of go like, and then I would go like, and stuff. And I would do this all day long. I just find sounds. And gradually,
that second one that you did. Can you do the second one? Oh my god, I love that. That sounds like old Hollywood, like Tinkerbell twirling around real quick.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's a gorgeous one. Yeah. That's why I collect these.
So
I have boxes of these in my mind.
What's that one?
This chord, well, I suppose it's kind of like an F sharp minor 7 with an 11th in it. Yeah, but then if you pivot to a G major 7, you've got a little duo.
Very satisfying.
I could do this all day long.
Can you send me that in a track?
Yeah, if I remember it. I'll do it right after this. I'll send it to you. Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be recorded, so.
I'm hearing like a. No, I'm joking.
Go off.
Yeah.
Casually ready.
Yeah, I mean.
So wait, you have a lot of floating guitar like things above your head. What are all of those?
Oh, I've got a missing hook. Let me fill in my missing hook.
You've got
I've got
stash.
We've got a little bit of a stash. Oh, let me put this guy back up. Oh, there you go. So yeah, so I like things that make sound, right? And so I collect them, and these things here are mostly guitars, which is very convincing, isn't it? Very convincing. But then there's also other things, like check out this. This is an instrument from Reunion Island. Have you ever been there?
From where?
Reunion Island. It's like an island off the east coast of Madagascar. It's quite small.
Reunion Island?
Oh, I would so recommend this place. It's just one of the most special places in the world I've ever seen.
Wow, I would love to, dude. All I love, honestly, island life is just my heart and soul is meant to be living on an island forever and ever. Amen.
That I can get jiggy with that for sure. That sounds very conducive with what I like to do with my time. I went to Reunion Island a couple of years ago, and it was the first time I'd ever done. It was the first time I'd ever done scuba diving, and it was the first time I'd ever done paragliding, and I was just like, island life is for me.
Absolutely.
I
You
got
did
this.
paragliding, like parasailing?
Yeah, I paraglid from the top of the volcano down to the beach, like the whole island from the. Oh, it was great.
That's beautiful. Is that wait? When you say paragliding, you mean like when you're attached to
Oh
the boat and you go through the water, or
no, do I mean paragliding?
did you do like a hanger glide where like you were in?
No, paragliding, like para with a parachute, and you run off the. So there was like a slope, right? And then I run down the slope, and then there's a moment where my feet aren't running because I'm just in the air,
You've been caught by the air.
and it's amazing. And then you're like, okay, I'm just gonna chill, and then you look around. So like I had to go with a guide because I'm like not a professional because it was my first time. So there's this like great guide, such a great guide, and he was behind me and he was sort of like keeping me safe, and we were just drifting through, and he'd be like, check out the waterfall, and I'd be like, wow, and then it'd be like, drag to the left so we can
Like
turn
you were
corner.
a bird.
So I was like, I was a bird. Yeah, it was so special. I would so recommend this as
Was
an
that on
experience.
Reunion Island as well?
It was, yeah.
So it's called Reunion Island, like as if like a reality TV show reunion type thing.
I mean, it's a French-speaking island, and it's called La Réunion.
La Réunion. Okay.
Yeah, La Réunion, and yeah, you can get there from. There's a flight direct from Paris because it's like a French colony, so you can. It's a quite long flight, 18 hours on the plane, but I like 18-hour flights. That's my shit.
You like 18-hour flights? Is that what you said?
Oh yeah, I love them.
All right. Do you pop a Zan before, or like?
No, oh hell no, no! I just sit and just close my eyes and let my head go bananas.
Oh, I mean, I would say that I would like to do that to myself, but I kind of go a little crazy after 18 hours. Honestly, though, like I don't mind long flights if I'm first class. Like if I'm in like a good cabin with like a bed, put me on whatever the fuck flight you want. But if I'm in economy.
Yeah, well, economy is it's a whole vibe. I've learned some tricks about economy though. I'm one of the guys who can so seamlessly and invisibly like climb over both people. If I'm in the window seat, which normally I can like climb over two sleeping people without a feather, just like, and like no one wakes up, and it's all seamless.
Do you partake in like parkour part time?
Well, for fun, sure, like around my house. Yeah, I'm good, but like not for
You
real.
must be. That's a feat, sir. Like climbing over an economy seat of two humans, like
two economy seats. Well, you know what it is.
You go via the front or via the back to get over it.
Well, so okay, so now we're talking technique. So okay, if there's a blank seat
That's
behind,
the most part, bro.
so like I like window seat, right? Because it's the view. Okay, and so if I look behind me and there's a blank seat in the middle of the two people, sometimes there is, but I've got two people next to me. Then you can jump off that middle seat with your leg. You can go like, and then go, and then use that as like a springboard. But otherwise, you've got to push on like the screen and the foot person next to you screen, the front of the chair, which they're probably watching a movie, but they're asleep. You push on that, and then you push on the back of their seat, and you just go like that, and you just have to be super strong and agile. And you pop into the aisle, and then
the strong agility thing. I'm working on it, but I don't know if I can do all that.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if I'm ready, but I am a little bit I'm pretty small. Maybe I could do it.
Yeah, I think you wouldn't have a problem.
I have this thing that I politely ask. I'm like, hey, excuse me, I gotta go to the restroom.
I can't deal with the waking up. I can't deal with like, excuse me.
Oh, I'll wake a motherfucker up with no second thoughts. I'm like, listen, my bladder and I have reached capacity. You must.
Yeah, no, I get it. I think I get such a rush from it. Like, okay, challenge is on. And then you know what the best thing is? When you succeed and you jump into the aisle and someone saw you do it. Sometimes they're like, you know, and then you have like a vibe.
Shit.
They're like, you just did that? Yeah, and then you like start, you know, it's like, thank you, bro, and you keep on going. These kinds of things only happen on flights.
Have you ever had a failure or a slip up?
Yeah, I have. Yeah, like there was this one time where I ended up sitting I was sitting like next to this girl on the plane. I was like kind of stoked about it. And I was like, okay,
Was
cool.
she
Yeah. And
pretty?
so yeah, she was like gorgeous. And then we started playing a game on a notepad and it was like, this is going great. And so we were like doing this stuff. And then I was like, yeah, okay, I'm going to go use the bathroom now. And she was like, okay, yeah, let me get up. And I was like, no. You stay sitting down. I'll just jump over you. I
I
got
will
this.
take care of it.
And
You were
so,
not, dude, you were parkouring to show off. See,
yeah, I was ready. I was like, you're not going to believe this.
Universe doesn't work out.
So, and then I tried to jump in and I was like, and then her water just went like all over her body. And I was like, I'm so sorry. But then it was like fine in the end, but it was
fine.
It was like not clutch because I was like up until then I was
It
on.
could have been such an opportune moment. Like it could have been like.
Well, it was an opportune moment. I just didn't take it in an opportune manner.
Oh, yeah, you're right. My bad.
Yeah,
I forgot
it's still opportune now. But it's happened and so you know. So now I'm like I haven't learned my lesson. I still do it, but I'm slightly more careful.
That's okay. You only had one slip up that one time?
Oh yeah, I have a pretty good track record.
That's amazing though. Then that was just because you were a little nervous.
Yeah, exactly. That's the thing. I was just kind of like.
That gets a pass. That gets a pass. You're okay.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
That is a skill you can claim.
I appreciate that. Great. So yeah, so that flight was a good one, and also in economy, right? You can lean your knees on the seat in front of you, which is so nice because I'm such a fetus. I like this. But then in economy plus or in first class,
but it hurts when you're in economy and you put your feet up, or you bother the person in front of you.
That is more my vibe. Yeah.
You're a botherer. I hate bothering.
I'm a bother. I'm so bothersome. You know why? Because I do this on the seat, and then I go like, and then it's like, could you not? You know, you get like the guy just being like, blah 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 blah, which is a vibe. And so I've learned how to deflect people.
I couldn't handle that. Nope. Not me, sir. No. One time I had this woman behind me who she wanted to put her feet up and she was very adamant about the fact that I was not allowed to recline. I was like, ma'am, I'm gonna recline. Like this is a long flight. I'm going to recline.
Ma'am, I'll have you know.
Like, you're not reclining your seat. I'm giving my legs up. I was like, no, you're not. No, you're not. You better put your legs down, man.
Yeah, ma'am, if I may. Yeah.
Nope. I had to get a whole flight attendant involved, and the flight attendant was literally like, she looked at me and I told her what was going on, and she looked back at the woman and she was like, "Ma'am, please put your legs down and let her recline her seat." Like, what are you even doing? Like, what? Obviously, everyone has the right to recline their seat, ma'am.
Yeah, I don't know what she was expecting, but that's kind of an epic story.
She was such a bitch.
Is this economy tales? Is this like tales of economy?
This is economy tales, man. This is why I gotta stay.
Hashtag.
Especially if we're gonna be going on like a long flight. That's my main thing. I'm not a picky. Okay, I can definitely do an economy flight easy, no problem. Like if that's what it is, that's what it takes. I'm with it. It's cheaper. I'm with that.
But reclining is happening, right?
Reclining's still happening, and you know when I'm on a window seat, I can really, you know what I mean? Like I can get really comfy. I can be fine.
Yeah, you can.
I also like feeling fetusy and like claustrophobic and like tight. Like
that's what I'm all about. I'm such a curler. I'm such a curler.
Such a curler. What do you sleep?
Okay, so
how do you sleep? What's your like go-to position?
Oh, well, I don't know where I end up. I do left and right, but I'm a complete kind of I told you I'm a curler.
Just totally like that, like.
Yeah, just like tossing and turning,
I'm
but
a little bit fetusy with my arm like this.
Oh, you're a one arm up, one arm down.
Yeah,
right?
I've got fucked up shoulders, man. Like I do not sleep well at all.
Sometimes I sleep just. Do you ever do this, like sleeping like completely just on your front, just kind of just like this, but like this is the view of the bed, so you're just like. Ever do that?
Yes, I do. I do that more like to chill though, not necessarily to sleep.
Interesting. Yeah.
I would feel like on my belly. Wow, we went like here. This was
we went all the way up. Yeah, this is great.
Wait, you never even told me about the instrument that you were about to show us.
Oh yeah. Well,
We
okay.
got
So
so
this is
sidetracked. I don't
basically
even
it's
know
like
how. I
it's
don't even know how
really
to use
loud.
it.
It's a really loud
Oh, because it's
instrument. But
from Union Island, right?
yeah, yeah. So and you do like this,
Oh, is
but
it like a
there's
wave
a
stick?
kind of but the technique is to go like this, and it's
It's like
I
a
don't know if you can tell
shaker,
how loud that is.
it's like
It's
a
so loud.
rectangular shaker.
Yeah, but it's like so it just cuts straight through everything. It's like so yeah. So there's an amazing style of music, and I actually can't
Okay.
remember the name of it now, but it's all in three divisions, like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then people sing and they play along to it. But this is like in the middle of that whole sound. Such a
Wow.
vibe. Worth all 18
Like,
hours of playing
have you
flight.
used that instrument on anything you've made?
I have.
On
I try
anything
to use everything.
that's out or anything that hasn't come out?
You know, I'm not sure because sometimes like the idea to record it is so fast that you forget what you did it on. But
How quickly
because
do
it
you get through like a track? Like how long does one track usually take you? Like when you do it, do you
depends.
do like one sitting, you finish something because you're so zoned in, or is it like you do something and you kind of let it breathe and you come back to it and then you just build multiple things simultaneously?
Yeah, a bit like that. I'm not particularly good at finishing stuff. I'm really good at starting. I'll start all day long. I'll be like, woo, 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 potential is so high, blah, blah, blah. But finishing is harder, which is why I decided to do 4 albums because I figured it would make me get finishing together. Because you can't not finish for like you have to finish. So I'm getting better at it, but it depends. Sometimes I can. Sometimes it's a thought and it happens in 4 hours and it's mixed completely and like written and mixed and everything. And sometimes it takes like 2 years, right? You like plant the seed and then 2 years later you figure out what the seed was actually meant for and you put the seed in the thing and then it grows and you're like, ah. Because sometimes you have an idea that you don't have enough life experience to like fledge, you know, and
Tell
then
me
you have
about it.
to, yeah. And like, you
Are
know,
you talking lyrically or are you talking sonically though?
oh, both, both.
So
There'll be a thing
how
that
would life
feels,
experience influence your sonic choice?
because it's a language the same as words is.
Like absorbing
It's
like
just,
that language from other places and like
yeah, it's like, you know, like, you know how you probably haven't learned like new words in English substantially for like a long time, but you're now thinking of new ways to use English just from your life.
yeah.
I guess it's the
I'm
same with,
talking with Spanish. I'm learning a lot vocabulary wise with Spanish because I've been taught
really, yeah.
since I moved back to Miami. Like a lot of my friends, we speak Spanish with each other and like my family and stuff. So like I've
Have
been
you always
speaking.
written music in both Spanish and English? Have you always been writing in both languages?
Yeah,
That's so rad.
yeah. I speak both
That's so rad.
but I'm learning a lot more words in Spanish, like just like kind of at the level at which I express myself in English. Because obviously
Yeah.
I went to school longer in English, and I had Spanish classes throughout my career, but my career, my scholarly career. But oh my god, this is how like jaded I am. Okay,
Yeah, for sure.
throughout my schooling, I had Spanish classes, but it was just a class. It wasn't the default language that I was speaking in, you know. So I'm doing a lot more of that right now and learning a lot of words.
That's
So
crazy.
I understand what you mean when you say that sounds are a language and that
So yeah,
experience and
like
talking.
there's times in your life where you need to do that vocab training. You want to like get everything, right? So when I was like 16, 17, I was like so thirsty. I was like, all I want is just stuff. Give me stuff. Give me chords. Give me like systems. Give me rhythm, weird stuff that's gonna blow my mind. And I like got it all in, and then after about 2 or 3 years, I stopped kind of being obsessive about this direction, and I became more obsessive about like this direction, like consolidating it all. And so now when I make music, it's not necessarily that I've learned something brand new and I'm going to use it. It's more that like I thought that this and this would mean something that I wasn't capable of feeling 5 years ago, right? Like
Got it. So it's like you kind of like
the
absorb.
distance.
It's like a toolbox
Yeah,
now.
yeah, it's like a toolbox. I mean, everyone has a toolbox with language, but with music, it's so interesting to draw upon all these materials, and you're like, whoa, I've got this from this and this from this, and but I wouldn't have thought to make something that feels like this until now, right? And for me, a lot of that is like leaving things out because when I was 16, I was such a maximalist. I'm still a maximalist, but I
I'm
was
such
just
a
like,
minimalist. I'm such a
really,
minimalist. And I know
oh,
you're a maximalist for sure.
yeah,
You have like
yeah, I
600
am.
plus layers. I'm just be like,
It's happening.
damn,
Yeah,
like how
I
do you
love.
even think of all those parts?
yeah, you kind of let your imagination go wild, and then it just,
And
it's
it's
like,
incredible though. Like just the sound is so spectacular. So it's just like
well, thank you. I mean, I think what I'm learning now is just like, it can be so beautiful to take something out. And normally what happens when I take something out is I'll think of 5 things that could go in its place. And so you start with 100, take out 5 things, and you get back like 20 things, and then you remove and you add. And that process of removing and adding kind of comes from your life. It doesn't come from your knowledge. It comes from your life. And you might hear someone sing in a certain way or get with a certain groove or whatever, and you're like, I feel that. Like, I feel you with that. And then
that's all
the feeling that it gave you is the thing that is inspiring. Like, not the kick drum sound per se. Either that can be sometimes inspiring, but it's more like, oh,
but I
music
understand
can
that
feel
the
like
sounds
that.
influence a feeling because that's something that's always been very vital to me. Is like
Yeah,
any sound you use needs to be intentional and it needs to make sense. Like, and in my writing process, I'm usually like very informed by the beat before I write anything, because to me, like the sounds set the mood that
yeah,
should inform the lyric. Because then all of those things working together is going to convey whatever you're
yeah.
trying to say so much more efficiently. You know?
Oh yeah, I'm so with you. I'm so with
Yeah.
you. I
So
like the
that's a
right
huge
sound.
thing
When you
for me.
get the
So
right sound, yeah. When you, the feeling of getting like the right chord or the right sound, like the
or
right
the right
snare
kick
or
drum. It's like it's not the
right kick
sound
drum, man.
particularly. It's what that choice of sound makes you feel.
Yeah, what it makes you feel. Yeah, I've always been obsessed with that. Like, how can I understand this? How can I get? Blah, blah, blah. And I'll be tweaking EQ and being like, it wants to feel it in my chest, or I want it to feel kind of shallow and tight, or I want it to feel like
Dude,
huge
I have
and
so many
snappy. And
adjectives. I use so many adjectives. That's how I describe things. That's why I really want to get more, because I'm trying to like learn piano right now, like just like a little bit, like just kind of like,
sick.
because I used to take it when I was little, and I just never dedicated myself to it. I'm a bad practicer, like a really bad practicer.
Me too. I'm horrendous.
Oh my god, yeah, but you're curious to the degree of like discipline. You know what I mean? I'm not
I
curious to the degree
I
of
don't know if
discipline.
that's true. I'm curious to the degree
It
of
sounds like
determination.
it sounds like it's true.
Well, I mean, I think there's an amount of discipline that's involved, but you don't feel it. It doesn't feel like discipline. It's not like, okay, now I'm going to work hard. It's like, but my intention, it lasts as long as this will take. So I'm just going to do it.
Yeah,
And it doesn't feel like work, right?
100%.
What
I
happened to
lost
your
the light
light?
again. We're back.
Oh, C major.
Do-do-do-do-do. No, that was not.
Nice.
I did not copy that.
No, no. But it's all good, you know, it's fine.
I love that you know that. Is that each note is played out?
Yeah, it was like, what I heard was kind of like, it went like, oh, yeah, it went like, right?
Yeah, that was what it was.
That's what I heard. Yeah. So, oh, I can't hear you anymore. Oh no, I can hear you now, I think.
The Bluetooth really tried it.
Yo.
This iPhone is
Oh, there you go.
Bluetooth and it's connected to the phone before, so I just tried to do that.
Crazy. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, so your mirror's in C. What else?
What happened to you? Why do you sound like that?
Oh, am I strange?
It's sounding a little, like underwatery.
I was sounding underwater. Very strange. Shall I jump back out and jump back on again?
Maybe, yeah, let's try that.
Okay, yeah, I'll do it. 1 sec.
Okay. Send that message again. I love him so much. So fucking funny. Oh my god. Come back. Come back. Come back. Go live. Hey.
Why? Hello.
Welcome back.
Is this better? Can you hear me all right now?
It's still the same, but whatever.
Are you kidding me? Really? It's the same?
Yeah, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like when you have like earbuds in.
That's a little strange. I mean, if you can't hear my,
it's not too terrible, to be honest.
well, okay. Let me know if you want me to restart it, because we can restart it again. Or if you restart it, then it might work as well. But then that will be a bit of a shame.
Yeah, if I restart it, then we'll lose the whole live.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
That'll be no fun because we've had so much fun.
This has been so good. I mean, this has been like one of my favorite Instagram lives of all time.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah. I mean, think how much we've spoken about.
Honestly, this is what I love about these things. Like, I especially love talking to like friends and just creatives because there's so much to discuss about that.
Yeah. Yeah, there's so much. I have one question for you that I have remaining, which is, if we were on an 18-hour flight together, say from Paris to Rhode Island, then what would you want to do?
On the flight or
Yeah. Yeah. Like if we were side by side, like what are your techniques for passing the time?
one is sleeping.
Okay.
I usually smoke before a flight, so I'll probably be feeling sleepy. So
Okay.
I'll do that and I'll be sleepy.
Okay.
I like watching movies. I love
Okay.
watching movies.
I'm down with that.
I'll read. I will eat at every time there's a ding for the food.
I agree with this.
Especially if I'm in first class. Like, oh.
Metal cutleries and stuff.
Exactly. What else do I do to pass time? Honestly, sometimes I think.
So that's the best one, right?
I sit and think and write a lot. I've actually come to some pretty genius conclusions on flights. I'm not gonna lie. On flights,
no,
like,
yeah,
I've had some
me
pretty
too.
philosophical moments in my journals on flights. Like one
Yeah.
time, I saw the Amy movie.
I watched that on a flight too. Devastating.
Yo, okay, but seriously though, like from certain angles, that bitch and I really look a lot alike, and it really creeped me out. It creeped me out a lot. So I felt her so much, and just felt like so connected to her energy through the film, like in the photos that I was seeing and the footage that I was seeing of her.
That's so crazy.
I felt her soul really intensely, and especially via what I was personally passing through at that point in my life when I watched it.
Yeah.
And it was just such a like an impactful moment for me. So then I like wrote about it, and
Yeah.
it literally took up like 17 pages in my journal.
Do you find that like that your threshold for like tears on plane watching on films watched on planes is like way lower than it normally is?
The tears are lower on planes?
As in like your threshold for like finding something really. No, more likely. As in, like, if the threshold is lower,
the
like
threshold is lower. I understand.
anything makes you, yeah. I find this to be true for me.
I agree with you, but I'm also just. I told you I'm a water baby, and I cry like nobody's business. I cry right.
Oh, okay.
I cry very much. My audio's weird. They're talking shit. I also have 3%. Oh my god! I need to find a charger. That would be such a shame.
That would be a huge shame.
Hold up.
Oh, I can't see it. You're cutting out for some reason.
Wait a minute. Oh my god, the internet is kind of trash. The internet is a bit trash.
A little bit.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, they're saying that my sound is trash.
We could restart it.
Can you hear me though?
I can kind of hear you. I'm good.
Lauren, please increase the volume. Lauren, please increase your volume. Let me see if I can just... All right. How about now, guys? Does the sound a little bit better?
I can hear you just fine.
Hello. Yeah, but if they can't hear me, then that means when I save it, they're probably not going to be able to hear me. No te oigo. Todo el mundo diciendo la misma cosa. ¿Qué hacemos? ¿Qué hacemos? I can only hear... Your phone dies every week, Lauren. Yo.
Is that true?
Calling me out. Honestly, I'm the worst at charging my phone. My phone is in constant death, like in a constant state of almost death.
what phone do you have? Do you have a phone which is unruly with battery?
I have an iPhone, man.
Oh yeah, well then you should be fine.
You would think, right? You would think.
I would think. I would most definitely think.
Well, no. Technology lied.
Mm-mm.
All right. One of the last questions that I have for you is just, I think it's just like, as a sum up, like, what has music helped you heal? Like, do you feel like music has been like a healing tool in your life, and just kind of like, how, you know?
Good question. My goodness. Well, I think that, so I so think of music as a language so much of the time. And I think that when I was a kid, a boy, and that's obviously I'm still quite young, but it was such a freeing language to talk music rather than English sometimes, because you can say a lot more. And so I think that by saying things that could make any degree of sense to anybody, I was able to find a kind of innate power in who I was that wasn't connected to who I appeared to be. And when that connected up, then I was able to know myself so much faster. It was like a sort of accelerated process of self-learning and I guess of self-love and self-forgiveness as well. Because when you speak a language that feels like it's honest and like you're able to tell the truth with it, once you get a taste of that catharsis, it's so addictive. And so I find myself using music as a way of figuring out how I'm really feeling. Like sometimes I'll be in a funk or whatever, and my friends will be like, "Hey, what's up?" Or my family, like, "How you doing?" And I'll find myself saying, "Well, I'm okay. I don't." Blah, blah, blah. But the moment I sit at the piano, or the moment I sit at the creation zone, I feel like something comes out that's way more honest. And so I think honesty leads to growth. Growth can lead to honesty, and I find that structure like extremely satisfying and like in an ongoing way very cool. But I also just like to dance, and so like music makes you dance as well, and that's like enough, right?
Amen. Amen. Damn.
Yeah. What about you?
Beautiful, babe. For me, yeah, dude. I mean, for me, lyrics and expressing myself through what I'm writing, like poetry-wise, or just getting out. Like this always happens to me. It happened to me twice in the past couple of days, where I'll just be sitting and just this like phrase will come into my mind that really sums up how I feel, and then I'll just kind of meditate on that, and then my brain will repeat it and repeat it and repeat it, and then it's like, okay, I need to write this down, like clearly, and it ends up being like a prompt.
Something's going on.
Yeah, and it ends up being a prompt, and I'm able again to express like those inner workings, like you're talking about, through that medium, and it's the most effective thing, and it for me has healed a lot of really like intense moments that I was maybe feeling confused about or feeling, you know, dishonest about in my real life. I was really able to be as like the most honest through what I was saying.
Exactly. I'm
even
so with you
that,
there.
like I wasn't ready to confront yet. Like that happened to me a lot. Like in the past couple of years when I've been writing these songs, like I'll write something and I'll be like, why am I writing about this? Like this doesn't even, I don't even feel like this. You know what I mean? Like I literally, like my conscious mind hadn't even looked at
figured that out
and processed them, you know? So I would be like, why am I even writing about this? And then later on I'll listen to the song and I'll be like, fuck, dude, that's exactly how
She had it all figured out. Yeah, I find that so crazy sometimes when I listen back to something that I did, maybe in a moment of kind of like shutdown or whatever, and I'll come back to it later and I'll be like, wow, he really got it. And I can't articulate it anymore, but that was what I was feeling, and music kind of came to that. It came into my hands right when I needed to have a language to speak, but like vague language is so powerful because you're not saying like, you are this, or I believe this to be true, or something, blah, 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 blah. It's not even about you. It doesn't even have to be about you. It can just be about being. And sometimes when you remove yourself from the table, shit gets clearer. I found that to be true, right?
That's the most often, yes, for sure.
Yeah.
When you realize, that's kind of like the whole point of meditation too, is like becoming the observer and looking at things from a higher perspective or a higher self's perspective versus like being so intimately in the moment that you forget, or so intimately in your past that you forget like to breathe and flow.
Totally, yeah. And it can remind you what that feels like. You know, because it's like the writing process is like a sense of flow. And so when you enter into it, it's like, oh yeah, I remember now. It's not about the passing things. It's just about everything. And I think for me, especially when I've been traveling a bunch, or I've been under loads of pressure, or I've like, whether it's from myself or whether it's from the outside world or whatever, and all those pressures, they kind of alchemize with music. It's like, okay, so any friction that feels like a burden, oh, I can use that friction to make a spark. And it's like, whoa, that's freeing.
Yeah. I remember my first heartbreak that I ever had. Like, I'll never forget. Like, it wasn't until I wrote a song about it that I felt better. Like,
Really.
I literally, I was like 15, young in love, like little sensitive ass cancer heart that thought she watched way too many Disney movies growing up and thought she was gonna marry this dude. Crazy.
I'm picturing it right now.
Oh my god, I really thought this kid and I were gonna get married, bro. It was ridiculous. But literally, my heart was so broken, and I couldn't eat, I couldn't sleep, I was like crying all the time. It was like really bad, okay? And then I finally like put all my feelings into the song, and just like, it was the first song I ever wrote. And I like got it out, and like I played the little chords, like I came up with the whole thing by myself. And then I remember I wrote it, and then I played it for one of my friends because I had to like get it out of myself and have someone else like tangibly hear it. And she literally started crying, and she was like, "Lauren, I didn't know you were feeling like this." I was like, "I didn't know I was feeling like this either."
Either. Oh, that's so beautiful. That is so beautiful. And yeah, I've had not exactly the same experiences as that, but similar experiences where you're super heartbroken or super distressed or super confused, and by making something that you can like kind of hold, it's like, so I'm owning the feelings now. Like, they're not bigger than me. They're like to scale, and I can grapple. And it doesn't make them easier, but it makes them more sizable. And then you can grapple. Yeah, I'm understandable. And then you work through it by expressing it. And it's like such an important thing to get down with, I think. So like, I feel like people who write music have this sort of access to this window of truth.
Yeah.
Which is super special and can come in real clutch at times, you know.
I agree, especially when there's so much anger in the world. Like, we get to transmute so much of that stuff through what we do, which I think is really beautiful.
I agree. And in a time like this where everyone's kind of wondering what the heck's going on, I think of like creatives a bit like alchemists, in the sense that we don't have to be grappling with the real world all day long in the same way. We can be grappling with our inner worlds, but in so doing, we can increase the number of available realities for everybody. And we can take the strange forces and grapple them and turn them and twist them into something which has form out of nothing. And so anybody who
the heck? No, this is...
Oh no, I'm losing you.
Are you back?
Are you there?
Hey, yeah, sorry about that.
you gave me a spinny wheel.
You were saying something so beautiful. Continue, please.
Okay, I don't know where you guys lost me, but yeah, I was basically just talking about how you can make form out of something that doesn't have form, and that sense of purpose and power could be just utterly glorious and very alchemic, and of massive amounts of value, because it can be so liberating to people to think, oh, this is possible. I can operate within this person's universe today, or this 100%. Person's universe today.
100%. I think that the whole world would be in a much more peaceful place if we all kind of realized that we're all living in our own perspectives and realities that have been created like via our own experiences, whatever they may be, you know what I mean? Which are a wide range of experiences. But we have so much to learn from each other. And I think that music is such a beautiful way for each of us artists to share what's going on in our little worlds, you know? And
you're so right.
Connect with other people and their little worlds, and like kind of, I see it like we're all in our little bubbles, and then you know, in bubbles, like they come into contact with each other and then they merge.
Yeah. That's a lovely image.
That's how it feels. That's how it feels when a fan sings back lyrics to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like you've completed my bubble.
I feel like we're merging bubbles.
Yeah. That's such a beautiful image. I really treasure that a lot. That's mega.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for freaking coming on and having this discussion with me.
Are you kidding me? It's my freaking privilege. Thanks for having me. This has been fun.
Yeah. I hope that we get to hang out in person soon and create.
Oh, please.
Create with you, Jacob.
Please. Anytime. I'm ready.
Necessary. Mwah.
Lots of love. Ciao.
Good luck on your performance. Kill it.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. All right. And that is another episode of Attunement, Angels. I'm so sorry about the internet connection and all of the kind of like little technical difficulties, but I hope that you were able to absorb and hear the majority of that conversation because it was so beautiful. And I love Jacob so much. And he is a little savant. So if you have an opportunity, definitely go check out his music. It is so beautiful and healing. Yeah, so thank you guys for coming through. Happy Sunday. Stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll see you next week. That was toiletry. I'm sorry.